I don't think that President Trump will fire him, but I think he should resign. I think he should leave.
Well, so should Trump resign. That doesn't mean you're going to do it.
It doesn't mean he's going to do it.
I don't go home on a private jet. On April 5th,
You're not mandated to do so.
Do
you know why I have to use a private jet? Because Congress made it mandatory.
Y'all mandated it. Y'all the ones who mandated it. Why are you even questioning the man when y'all mandated it? Like and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell to get notifications anytime I go live or make a video. Make sure you subscribe to The Officer Tatum Show and The Officer Tatum channel. And message me if you want to ask me a question at Brandon@freedomchat.com. That's Brandon@freedomchat.com. Let's get into this. All right. We already talked about Sonny Holston, and you know I had to talk trash about him. But I'm not done with him, though. Because we have to talk about what they said about Kash Patel, and I think this would be a very easy segue, palatable segue for you guys. If they're not dumb on this issue or the last issue, they definitely dumb on this issue. Listen to what they said about Kash Patel flying a private plane. Ma'am, you can take 30 seconds and chat GPT this, and you will find out that you're full of hogwash. Roll the clip.
You know, when you have clowns running an organization, it becomes a circus, right? Yeah. And so that's really, I think, what's happening here. What we have to understand is that the FBI is a crucial part of our government. It's within the rubric of the Department of Justice. And what they are tasked to do is to protect the United States, our country, from terrorist and intelligence threats. They enforce domestic and international terrorism, foreign counterintelligence, cyber-based crime, public corruption, organized crime, white-collar crime, human trafficking.
But what do they do now?
But my point is, I've worked with FBI agents.
Time out.
You know,
These people are so stupid. They still doing all that now. Do you know how many FBI agents there are? They're literally working around the clock doing work. This is not the movies, you idiots. Let me ask you something. What would it feel like to skip your next 2 mortgage payments and keep that money in your pocket? 2 full payments. That is real breathing room, especially with the holidays coming up. And right now, that is exactly what you can do when you call American Financing. If you're feeling stretched by groceries, gas, and your bills are stacking up on you, you're not alone. Most Americans are putting every expense on a credit card. And those credit card rates are outrageous, climbing into the 20s and even 30s. But here's the good news. American Financing can help you use your home equity to pay off the high interest debt with mortgage rates in the low 5s. Their salary-based mortgage consultants work for you and not for commission. They help homeowners restructure their loans, lower their payments, and save money every single month. And they do it with no upfront fees. Their customers are saving an average of $800 a month. And that's like getting a $10,000 raise without changing jobs. But you need to call now before it's too late. Reach out to American Financing at 866-889-8010. That's 866-889-8010, or go to americanfinancing.net/Tatum. Take control of your finances today.
Foreign counterintelligence, cyber-based crime, public corruption, organized crime, white-collar crime, human trafficking.
But what do they do now?
But my point is, I've worked with FBI agents.
Time out.
You know,
These people are so stupid. They still doing all that now. Do you know how many FBI agents there are? They're literally working around the clock doing work. This is not the movies, you idiots, where you got 15 people in a suite and you think that's the entirety of the FBI. And because 15 people go investigate one crime, that's the whole FBI investigating the crime. Y'all got to be stupid. Most of the FBI agents is pushing, they doing paperwork. They doing investigation, doing paperwork, probably running themselves crazy. The reason why our country isn't just completely in shambles is because of these people who are in the FBI and some of these investigatory bodies that are doing their job, thwarting crimes, arresting people on a day-to-day basis. But you dumb women don't know what you're talking about. Roll the clip.
I work with FBI agents as a federal prosecutor, and it is one of the most important jobs within the Department of Justice. And the fact that you have 24 FBI sources, the fact that you have 115 page report saying that career FBI agents are losing confidence in the agency and are leaving the agency, leaves our country unprotected from domestic and foreign threat. That is how serious this is. And will he leave? I don't think that President Trump will fire him, but I think he should resign. I think he should leave.
Well, so should Trump resign. That doesn't mean you're going to do it.
It doesn't mean he's going to do it. But he's just not qualified. Well, he's not qualified.
And neither one of you hamburger heifers are qualified to be on that show talking about nothing. I don't even know why y'all even talking about somebody else at this point. But to defend Kash Patel and this airplane thing, I want you to see what he had to say before Congress when it comes to the fact that the federal government, the executive branch, orders that the FBI director has to fly private for multiple reasons. And then there's certain reimbursements that he have to give the government if some of those reasons end up being private reasons, not for the assignment that he has on his job. But this is him speaking in Congress to the Senate. Roll the clip.
When you were here, you were rightly critical, not here actually, I guess it was on Cash's corner. You were rightly critical of the way that the previous FBI director used the FBI jet. And you said you wanted to ground Chris Wray's private jet travel that he pays for with taxpayer dollars to hop around the country. Let me ask you this. You know, on the weekend of, according to flight tracker data, on the weekend of March 7th, an FBI plane flew round trip from D.C. to Las Vegas, and you attended a UFC fight with Mel Gibson. And I'll show you that. Is that you, and is that true?
Yeah, you want to know the difference? I live in Las Vegas. I'm allowed to go home. I didn't leave a congressional hearing early on an FBI jet to dodge questions.
All right. Then on April 5th, you attended a hockey game in New York City. You don't live there, right?
No, I don't.
By the way, everyday FBI agents who are assigned in Washington don't get to fly home on a private jet.
Well, this is a great point. Do you know why I have to use a private jet? Because Congress made it mandatory.
Okay. In April 5th, well, we didn't make it mandatory that you go to UFC games with Mel Gibson.
Are you telling me I can't go home?
You know, you got to use some judgment here.
So when I'm at home, I can't do what I...
Let's get this established. He lives in Vegas. He went home, and while he was at home, he went to a UFC fight, which I love. UFC fight. Shout out to Dana White, man, one of the greatest men that I know. Anyway, I had to do that quick plug. I love Dana. Anyway, he went home. He explained to you that he went home and went to the fight. He went to New York. He explained to them that the only reason I'm traveling like this because y'all mandated it. Y'all the ones who mandated it. Why are you even questioning the man when y'all mandated it? I'm going to let him finish. Roll it.
I'm doing when I go home. Everybody else is allowed to go home, just not me.
Let me keep going. No, I'm glad you go home. I love to go home. But I don't go home on a private jet. On April 5th,
they're not mandated to do so.
You attended a hockey game in New York City with Wayne Gretzky, and Flight Tracker says the FBI jet took you to and from New York City, where you don't live, right?
That's correct.
And on April 12th, on the following weekend, you attended a UFC fight in Miami, also on the FBI jet, right?
That's correct.
So what's the cost to the taxpayer for those 3 flights?
I pay the commercial equivalent per the regs and the law. And so just so you know, when you are comparing me to prior directors...
I asked what the cost was, and you don't know, I take it.
Yeah, and what I've done with the use of the private jet is use Andrews Air Force Base versus Reagan National as what the other directors have done to save the taxpayer dollars.
Bottom line here, you flew home to Las Vegas. There's nobody else in the FBI who gets paid. They have to pay their own way if they want to go home, right? I mean, right?
Well, that's not accurate. Depending on where you're stationed, the FBI covers the bill to get home.
So are you telling me that FBI agents who are assigned in Washington, but who may live in Charlotte, they get paid by the FBI to
Sometimes
go home?
they do, yes.
Right.
All right, listen, let me just clarify this for you. Personal travel is allowed only if the director reimburses the government for the equivalent cost of a commercial ticket. That's what he said. So if he's doing it for businesses, which probably going home is not personal. Going home is a requirement. He should be able to go home. So when he goes home, he don't have to pay an equivalent. And he can go to a UFC fight. You can't say because he's the FBI director and he wants to go home that because the UFC fight is where he lives, he can't show up there. That's crazy. When he goes somewhere else, he paid the cost equivalent. He said he did. He's reimbursed for everything that he's done. Why are they still talking about this? Why are they still making this a thing? They just trying to have a gotcha moment, but Kash Patel is too smart for you to get a gotcha moment on him. And the reason that he's smart is not because he's a genius, it's because when you're doing the right thing, there's not a lot of hoops you got to jump through. You can just clearly tell them, if you guys don't want the FBI director to fly on a private jet, then you mandate that the director fly on a personal jet. And there's reasons why a director needs to fly on a private jet, because he needs to have communication. He needs to be able to go and travel wherever the FBI director needs to be. And you can't do that on a commercial airliner. And especially when you're a high-profile person like him, he probably needs to travel with security. So I don't really think that you can do that effectively on a commercial airliner. And there's another clip that we have, because I think in the same interview, he chastised this congressman or a senator over some other things that he had said. Roll the clip.
Another thing I want to say is this. You know, our local law enforcement has been stiffed. About $500 million in COP grants have been taken out of the budget. Those really help us in Burlington. They help us in Rutland. They really are important. And why in the world would we be cutting those COP grants when we need that local law enforcement, in part to partner with you?
Well, I think
you support that?
I think you're speaking to the Department of Justice grants, which I don't adjudicate, but also Vermont, just like every other state, has received a plus-up of FBI personnel.
Well, I'll tell you, that's not what we're seeing. The other thing, my understanding is that there's a requisition or an effort to get another plane for the FBI that would cost about $72 million. Is that right?
That's inaccurate. The FBI, because the jet, as you call it, is not my jet. We use it for operational needs. We use it for FTOX. We use it for HRT.
But that's the one you fly in, right?
We have multiple fixed-wing assets, and one of them is on a wildly expensive lease that I deemed a waste of money, and I'm looking for a replacement in which the government can procure assets permanently.
Well, I would welcome you submitting to this committee the cost information about the jets that are under consideration. And according to our research, the specifications that are included in this request would result in an expenditure of between $72 million and $80 million.
That's inaccurate, but I'll happily get you the right numbers.
I welcome getting the specific information.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I don't know why they playing with Kash Patel, man. He's good at what he's doing. He know what he's doing. He's acting in good faith, and this is why he cleaned the house with these people, to be honest.